Sandra Spurgeon is an attorney out of Kentucky. She's won more than 120 state and federal cases. She's got an interesting book out, actually, about courtroom strategies and tactics. It's called Courage to Stand. And I wanted to just take a couple minutes with Sandra to talk about some issues coming out of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. So, Sandra, thank you for making a few minutes to spend with us today. I appreciate it.
Hi, Ross. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Very glad to do it. One quick thing. Is it true that you've never lost a case that went to trial?
That is correct.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable. Okay, so we only got 4 minutes. Let's get through a few things quickly. With this Heard Depp thing, were you surprised by the outcome?
I wasn't, but I looked at, a trained trial attorney looks at things differently. What I began watching was the length of time that they spent analyzing the portion of the verdict, the portion of the juror instruction form, and that was because Depp sued Heard, it came first. And they spent an entire day analyzing, looking at the timing of when they came out with the question. I thought, they're spending a lot of time going through that Washington Post op-ed. They ended at 5 o'clock on Tuesday on that portion, so they spent the entire day. And then yesterday, they didn't hardly spend, the time was very disproportionate regarding Amber Heard's claim against Johnny Depp. So I have a slightly different way of looking at it, but no, I wasn't surprised given the length and time of the analysis that I saw that the jury was doing.
So we know that Amber Heard is going to appeal. Is there a typical thing that you would expect, or is every case so one-off that there's really no easy way to predict based on past history of this kind of appeal?
Well, what we don't know is the basis for the judge's rulings in the suppression of evidence. A trial or a case really starts the moment a client walks in the door. And so when you are preparing for trial, what America heard was the net, if you will, of what the judge had ruled upon was admissible. We're hearing from Amber Heard's lawyer this morning that in pretrial rulings, she suppressed evidence, particularly of a telephone call where Johnny Depp, as if she is accurate, admitted that he had hit Amber and that he was very sorry for it. The jury didn't hear that. So he received some very favorable pretrial rulings regarding suppression of evidence. There were also apparently from her mental health therapist notes over a period of years where it was being noted that he wasn't physically abusing her. So, the judge's pretrial rulings really shaped how the evidence was heard in this case. And I think that if I was listening and reading correctly this morning, that's going to be their focus of appeal.
Okay, that makes sense. And as you lay it out, it sounds like that could be a legitimate basis for appeal. We got about 1 minute left because we got a bit of a late start. So the last thing I wanted to ask you about was she was awarded $15 million by the jury. The $5 million part was reduced to $350,000 based on state law in Virginia. So we'll call it $10 million in round numbers. What happens if she says, I cannot afford to pay that?
Well, what's going to happen? There's three different scenarios. Johnny Depp can decide, listen, I've won the public perception. I can get my career back on track. I'm not going to execute upon the judgment. That would be number one. Number two, Amber Heard, they give intent that they do intend to execute upon the judgment, and she can file the appeal. She would have to post a supersedious bond, and it would have to be approved in the state of Virginia. And, she can, the execution of the judgment would be stayed during the appeal. But she could also go ahead and file bankruptcy simultaneously. And so, but the bankruptcy would also be stayed during the pendency of the appeal. So she has some options. She's not under immediate harm of having her wages garnished or her income levied upon. for her role in Aquaman, but it's certainly, over the next 12 to 18 months, there's going to have to be some decisions made.
All right, just give me a real quick answer to this one, Sandra. If you were a betting person, what do you think the odds are that Johnny Depp says, forget the money, you don't need to pay me?
I don't think it's just Johnny Depp. I think he has an entire team that, they saved no punches while they were during the trial.
Mm-hmm.
They're out for blood.
Interesting.
And I don't know if someone tells them it's time to stop. In reality, they've gotten what they want. Why beat a dead turnip? Why beat a dead horse, if you will? But you see, in just looking at the social media, which we now are all looking at, to try to figure out what would be the perception, there's some swing back that Amber Heard, there is some sympathy out there for Amber Heard today, even though the credibility issues, I will tell you this, is that when you are in trial, your credibility is everything. And you cannot come into a trial if there are issues or problems. You have to tell the jury up front. You can't wait for them to come out on cross-examination. And that really hurt Amber Heard.
That makes a lot of sense.
Credibility is all that you have. And she lost that. She lost it with the jury. Why she made that inference about Kate Moss, I'm not sure. Why there was a reasonable explanation as to why she didn't donate all of that money, and they should have gotten ahead of it. Any seasoned trial attorney would have known to have gotten ahead of it, and they didn't do it.
Sandra Spurgeon is the founder of Spurgeon Law Group and a highly successful trial attorney. Her website is spurgeonlawgroup.com. I know you got to go do some television. Thanks so much for squeezing us in this morning. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Ross. Contact me anytime. I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, thank you so much.